So at this point, we're going to start the next session. We have three teams again presenting. I want to introduce the deal leads, the diligence leads for each of the companies. For Latchel, we have Gregor Purdy. For New, we have Matt Boyson. And for Tosselt, we have Javier Tortable. Replaced with the artist formerly known as Serena. All right. So first up is Will Gordon. Will, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Will Gordon, CEO and co-founder of Latchel. At Latchel, we coordinate maintenance for property management companies. This is a $7.6 billion problem in just the markets we're focused on, which is primarily management companies with single-family homes up to 9-unit apartment complexes. This maintenance problem is the single biggest driving factor in the entire property management and real estate industry. It's the reason why landlords turn to property management companies, and it's the reason why management companies turn to us. Traditionally, they have to hire one new employee for every 100 doors that they manage, and they don't have the processes, technological capability, or just the bandwidth to tackle those problems, and that's why they turn to us. So just to give more context on this hair on fire problem, here's Marples. They're one of our clients. They came to us with 2 maintenance coordinators, 350 units under management, and just a boatload of overdue maintenance requests that they had no idea what was going on. If they wanted to tackle that, they would have had to hire at least one more maintenance coordinator and spend a total of $157,000 a year just to get their maintenance problem under control. Instead, they hired us, and they only had to spend $67,000 because they also let go one of their maintenance coordinators because we did such a cost-effective job for them. Now, like I said, it's a hair-on-fire problem. We're young, we're not perfect, but because the services we offer are so much better than what they have today, they're willing to stick with us. So, how does it work? The property management company, and now many times the actual tenant, submits the work order to us. Our system will then handle the coordination and communication with the vendors, the tenants, make sure that there's a time that works, make sure everyone shows up to the appointment, the work gets done, and the invoices get sent back to the property management company. Now, whenever something goes wrong that isn't handled by our automation, a notification is sent to our operations and customer support team, and they take care of it. Today, 30% of work orders are handled completely by our system without us having to touch it after it gets entered. We've made a lot of changes in the past month and over the past couple weeks even. In the past month, we've been able to take the maintenance requests that come in and used to touch every single one. And now 75% go into our system without our team having to deal with them. And also, we now automatically assign vendors for 50% of the work orders that come into the system. We have quite a few changes that we can implement over the next few months, and we think we can get that 75% number up to close to 100%, and then that 50% vendor assignment up to close to 90%, and with the remainder us having to source vendors. So we have 2 primary revenue streams. The main one, the bulk of what we earn today, is a subscription fee from the property management companies. They pay us, our current customers, about $3.30 per unit per month to handle all their maintenance requests. New customers coming in are paying an average of $5.15 per unit. In addition to that monthly subscription fee, whenever we source vendors, we get 10% of the job that they perform. So we're able to make money on both ends of that service. The vast majority of our customers, though, fall into that paid plus category, where they come with a lot of their existing contractors, so we don't have to do a lot of work early on to source. And then just for a few jobs on demand, we'll source additional contractors and get that 10% service fee. So that overall market opportunity I was talking about, that $7.6 billion is focused on small, single family. Just recently, our technology has gotten to the point where we can start targeting larger tower apartment complexes. We actually have a deal coming, actually signed in for a Seattle company with a lot of towers, and we handle their internal maintenance team issues. So that opens up the market quite a bit more. There's also the commercial property management space that we're not touching. In addition, there's property management software, tons of opportunities, but the long story short is we see an opportunity that we can capture within the next 10 to 15 years of $1 billion in annual revenue. So here's our history over time. We've had pretty good growth. Right now, today, we're at 18,500 in just monthly recurring revenue. That's completely ignoring all the invoicing and all that other money that we could be making on the contractors. That blue line there is that contract that I was talking about with that Seattle-based company. And that will bring us to 22,500 in early January. And the retention, made a lot of trial by fire issues early on and have been able to improve that. The past couple months, we're at 89%, mostly due to technology changes. And then this past month, we kicked it up to 95% of our customers month over month staying with us. So I'm really proud of that 95% because in addition, in the past month and a half, a lot of it due to the conversations with the SAC team, we found ways to make our operations team even more efficient, and we let go some unnecessary operations expense and have still been able to maintain that high level of customer service, mainly due to technology changes. You see it increase back up because we plan to hire engineers to help us expedite the margin improving opportunities we have inside of our product. So our forecasted growth rate is about 16% month over month. That's half of our historic growth rate. We expect a new service that we just launched, which is night and weekend only emergency service, to grow at a similar rate. So here's a snapshot of where we are today and the overall distribution of the team, so you can get a sense of where we're spending our money. Like I said, just under $18,500 in monthly recurring revenues, and our burn rate, our expenses beyond what we're taking in, is just under $10,000 monthly. Right now, Ethan and I are not taking any salaries, and after raising more, we do plan on paying ourselves so that we can put more food on the table. But the leadership team, pretty happy with the team we've been able to assemble. So myself, I come from an operations engineering and logistics background. My experience is with other companies like Amazon and PG&E building new businesses inside of existing business units. My focus was always on logistics and coordination between multiple parties. I helped launch Amazon Prime Now, the 1-hour delivery service, as well as expand the Amazon Fresh and Amazon Logistics across the country. Ethan, he has a great product and sales background, particularly his last startup was with contractors.com, which was a lead generation marketplace. And he also has a great digital marketing background. Julian, our lead engineer, has a absolutely phenomenal startup background in terms of just the number of companies he's been able to build new products for. And he's a full stack developer, has built the vast majority of the technology on our back end. So moving forward, our biggest focus is improving that gross margin. So what I talked about earlier is there are a lot of opportunities inside of our workflow to completely automate the process. Simple ones are making sure that we don't touch any work orders as they come in, automatically assigning vendors and handling that process. There's also a lot of common exceptions that our team has to get on the phone to handle that we can automate. These are things like going back to a site after the first visit because there's a more complex issue, or scheduling for estimates when there's multiple vendors to coordinate with. We have a plan to automate most of that, so that 30% number should move to 60% within the next 3 to 6 months, and we expect our margin to improve substantially from around 45% now to above 60 to 70%. In addition, we have that night and weekend service. We're losing money on that today. On the unit economics level, it's pretty attractive. It's about 25 cents per unit to actually service an emergency maintenance request that comes in. And then we're taking in $1. We started the service to attract a very large client that needed that overall service, and it's very costly to have somebody 24 hours over the weekend and over those nights. So we're selling that service now, and we're about 1/3 of the way to completely covering its cost. And we project that we can 10x it without having to increase the manpower behind that service. Even more, we build a lot of technology that automates the process for us. But there's opportunity to package that and sell that to property management companies that may not want the full maintenance coordination solution. So we can sell those products just as a SaaS solution, and it's all digital sales that we don't have to get on the phone for. So since I have additional time, I'd like to talk about our metrics of lifetime value over customer acquisition cost. We do have a lot of phone communication for our sales right now, so I'm pretty proud of this number. Our best was just above 10 as a ratio of lifetime value over customer acquisition cost, but we normally vary between 4 to 6. And it is a crowded space in the overall maintenance coordination or just maintenance for property management companies. But I think Latchel is in a pretty unique position in the center of the maintenance outsourcing specifically. So most of these companies will handle just a tiny piece of the overall puzzle, and we are handling that end to end, which really is what's addressing the true pain of the property management companies. There are a few other companies inside that space, but those companies are focused on a very manual, human handheld solution. They don't have as much of a technology integration. So I think Latchel is very uniquely positioned and is ahead of these companies because we have such a strong technology foundation. Thank you for your time, and looking forward to answer the questions.
So our diligence team included myself and Mark, Kathleen, Mohit, and Erchenk, many of whom are in the audience. And we covered a wide array of topics with the team. Maybe I'll use the mic since we have technology. Okay, so we covered a wide array of topics with the team, and I'll highlight just three of them here. On the team side, we found Will and Ethan, the co-founder. They've worked together before, and they work really well together in our interactions with them. They're both smart, diligent, and open to advice, which is something that we really appreciate at SAC as we learn about them and they learn about us. And they've made some adaptations even to their process given our interactions with them already. On the product side, they have a solid value proposition, as you saw in the presentation with the property management companies in particular. They're going from a very high cost per 100 doors in terms of labor cost to manage their flow to something very much more manageable with the Latchel solution. The blend of humans and automation in particular, I feel has a lot of room for them to automate more over time and keep even more of the revenue as margin. And they've been very responsive to additional customer needs. The 24/7 maintenance thing, for example, was due to a need that a customer of theirs had. On attraction level, they have real paying customers writing them checks or having credit card transactions every month, including some very large ones. They've got a large number of total doors under management, measured in thousands. And the early bet on 24/7 emergency service, as Will said, it's an early bet, and they've got some work to do to make that sub-business profitable on its own, but they have a clear path to that. A couple remaining questions that we had. One was on margin. What is your path to positive margins on each of your offerings? I know you covered some of that in your presentation, but how can you ensure you're signing profitable customers right from the beginning?
Yeah. So yeah, the path to positive margins, as I covered, we definitely have a clear path for improving our existing technology, and that it's that 24/7 that we're improving and have customers filling in that service. So as soon as it's filled in, that one will be profitable, and it already is on a unit economics basis. Now, for ensuring assigning profitable customers, through this discussion, we've built a model for any customer that comes in, and we look at the history of work orders that they have been using themselves. How many do they have open? What % are the estimates? What is the total amount of budget that is given to each individual job? And based on our historical data, we know how many interactions that requires on the phone and what opportunities we have to automate that. So it's still an early model. It's usable by me and Ethan. We're trying to adapt it so that these, our help in the sales side is able to just use it themselves and figure out, is this profitable? Should I turn away this deal in the first place?
Thank you. On the resilient side, we'd like to know how your company is going to be able to thrive during increased financial pressure if we were to have in the next couple of years or a little further out some economic pressure that hurt the property manager's profitability and they're looking for costs to cut.
Yeah, I actually think if there was a recession, it would improve Latchel's overall value proposition. We're much cheaper than their existing labor force or hiring more people. And even though landlords and management companies may be less willing to do maintenance work, that means they're less willing to do renovations or unnecessary work. There's still going to be routine, necessary work that they're legally obligated to complete, and that's where we absolutely thrive. In addition to that, the vendors, since there's a crunch of less work available, they're much more willing to work with us. We can attract them more easily and have them use our platform. So I think if there was a downturn, Latchel would actually benefit quite a bit.
Thank you. And finally, on exit strategy, where are you aimed in terms of timing and valuation, and who would make an ideal acquirer if you were to be acquired?
Yeah, so there's a two-pronged way that we're thinking about this. There's the kind of the earlier route and then a bit more of a mid-stage route. So in the next 3 to 5 years, and this is particularly if these SaaS-type solutions are very attractive, there's companies like AppFolio or RealPage that are very acquisitive in the property management software space, and that could be an earlier acquire in 3 to 5 years. They typically do 5 to 10x revenues for the companies that they acquire. However, the managed service is where we see our true value of handling that communication coordination between these multiple parties. And companies like HomeAdvisor and Google and Amazon are very interested in that type of space, but that would be a 5 to 10-year timeline.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have Kwame Bowler. Did I get that last name right?
First name's Kwame.
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 Good. We'll go with that. And we have Matt Boyson, who will be the diligence lead. The stage is yours.
Thank you. The world's largest hotel chain lacks a cleaning company that can match its growth. At least, not until now. Hi, my name is Kwame Bowler, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of New. New's journey began a little bit over a year ago, where my co-founder, Rawan Lawal, and I were both frustrated by the status quo. Both of us were commercial Airbnb property managers who had managed well over 20 properties within our personal portfolios, but we were limited from growing our thriving businesses not because of a lack of inventory, but because there wasn't a cleaning company capable of keeping up with our growth. We polled around and talked to friends as well as fellow hosts within the community and realized that we weren't alone in this problem. So, seeing a market opportunity, we decided to combine resources and work together to solve the cleaning issue within the Airbnb space. However, after months of trial and error, we ended up becoming a part of a larger statistic. Over 55% of cleaning companies fail within the first year, and 95% fail within 5 years. And after realizing this and learning from the months of trial and error, we ended up understanding the pain points of the cleaning industry, as well as understanding the pain points of Airbnb hosts, and decided to try something new. So, the vacation rental industry is one that's growing exponentially. In Seattle alone, it's grown 65% year over year for the last 5 years. Local cleaning companies are not well equipped to keep up with this demand growth. Most of them lack the technical tools in order to schedule efficiently, and when you keep into consideration the short window of time between a check-in at 11 o'clock and a check-out at 3 p.m., they have difficulty effectively and efficiently navigating the space. And both cleaners and hosts hate doing laundry. Hosts hate visiting their property. They're looking for a passive stream of income, and so they often pass off services like laundry onto their cleaners. Problem with that is, average cleaner washes and dries sheets, and it takes 2.5 hours, while it takes less than 15 minutes for them to clean the entire property, making it incredibly inefficient. Status quo, the way that people try to tackle this, in terms of communication, is usually by SMS as well as phone call. That's not effective enough because hosts constantly need live-time updates to best know how cleaners are doing in their service. In terms of scheduling, it's a nightmare. When you integrate too many host calendars, it looks like that, and it's very difficult to read. Worst of all, when it comes to navigation, since there isn't route optimization available from point to point, it makes it inefficient, and cleaners waste too much time when it comes to driving. New solves these problems by operating as a third-party dual marketplace that connects Airbnb hosts with local cleaners to facilitate hotel-grade turnovers. We use technology such as route optimization as well as automated billing and automated messaging to help streamline the cleaning process to allow cleaners to focus on what they do best, clean. On top of that, New provides fresh laundry and toiletries per turnover. We pack backpacks per the specifications of each of the listings. That way when cleaners go in, they already have all the tools equipped to clean and turn over the property, grab the dirty, and they're off to the next job. The way that we handle this now is we stream together a series of third-party softwares to simulate what we plan on integrating with the mobile app, as well as web app form, as well as the user interface, which will be coming soon. Some of our customers include people like Karthik, who absolutely hate cleaning his Airbnb. Reason being is that he doesn't have the time, and the biggest value proposition to him is that he gets time back to spend with his family instead of sacrificing his nights and weekends cleaning his property. For Marisol, as a cleaner, she's often looking for different ways to bring in additional revenue. New offers her an opportunity to sacrifice days that aren't very profitable to focus exclusively on Airbnb cleaning, and thus increasing the realm of revenue that she generates on a normal basis. To date, we've completed over 1,700 cleans. We've been in over 40 homes. We've partnered with 8 different local cleaning companies and have generated over $72,000 in revenue. What's best about this business model is that for Karthik, this cost him absolutely nothing. Most hosts completely pass over the cleaning costs directly to their guests. Since they're able to charge a cleaning fee, when a guest books, they're paying for the service themselves. And our business model is simple. Karthik would charge his guests $86 to clean it. Marisol would keep $51, and New would get $35. In terms of unit economics, it costs us roughly $75 to acquire Karthik's and $250 to acquire Marisol. Our market is very sizable, and considering the fact that we're operating in a niche market, we are over $10.1 billion in a total addressable market and a $945 million SAM. Our go-to-market strategy now involves us using two bots. We call them Philip and Sarah. Sarah is a bot that messages people on Airbnb to tell them more about our service and to direct them to our website. Philip does the exact same thing with cleaners in effort of getting them to contact us. That way we can bring them onto our platform. However, we recognize the limitations of this and plan on evolving when we enter new markets. We partner with commercial hosts and then partner with 3 different local cleaning companies and then continue to hold promotions as well as events and use referrals in SEM to acquire new hosts onto our service. The game plan is to continue to grow and scale and partner with other large platform services like Lothium and Guesty in order to cut down our customer acquisition costs. And when we seize about 5% of the market, partner with franchise businesses like Molly Maids in order to not only reduce our customer acquisition costs, but have more cleaners onto our platform. We've also recently partnered with Bongo PM, property management company that lists over 300 properties within North America. They aim to help us solve the chicken and egg problem when we enter new markets. In comparison to our competition, we have 4 direct competitors. We're able to outperform them because we're not only less expensive, considerably more scalable, but are more technology focused to solve the problems at hand. This graph represents all of the markets we plan on entering over the next 18 months. The TAMs and SAMs are represented as the numbers listed. This graph represents our projections. You'll notice within Q1, the number of employees is 1 and 4 when there's 3 team members on our team. All of us have agreed to not take any salaries until we get to Q2, which is when we anticipate we'll be raising a Series A round. The vision for New does not just extend to Airbnb cleaning. We plan on entering and offering additional services to both aspects of the marketplace, starting, of course, with luggage transfer. Have you ever encountered a case where you flew in at 9 and couldn't check your bag, or let alone get into the property until 3? You don't want to log your luggage with you the entire time. New aims to solve that problem by grabbing the luggage and putting it in room, offering an additional accommodation service to our guests. And in terms of product placements, what's unique about Airbnb is that the average host gets 7 stays with 3+ people per stay. That's 21 new people being introduced into an environment. To a company like Procter & Gamble, that's gold, because that gives them the opportunity where they're spending millions of dollars in product placement and samples to sample products within our listing and increase the experience for our guests. Our team consists of myself, CEO, got a degree in computer engineering from NJIT, Rowan, COO, a degree from Rutgers and TCNJ, and Shaft, CTO from UCLA. We're a unique group of teams that have worked very well together, have worked with each other for well over a year, and we're the dream team that makes New new. Why us? Simple. Our team has overcome a great deal of our adversity over the year that we've been in business, from losing initial members to overcoming working budgets, to even other challenges that we face in the short term. We've overcome every obstacle we faced on hand and are thriving strong, looking forward to grow and continue our business. The market potential for this is huge. The shared housing economy is one that is growing and thriving. Why not capture the opportunity to invest in a market that's already being invested worldwide? Very recently, a similar business in Europe just raised $3 million. Why not try to make an attempt to do that today? And in terms of the potential, 6 months ago, I didn't think I'd be here on this stage. I also didn't think that I'd be in my 2nd round of interviews with Techstars. I didn't think I'd be pitching nationally to compete against some of the best people in the same space, and I didn't think I would place regionally in a similar competition. Don't miss out investing in the next Uber of cleaning. Thank you. Oh, and sorry, really quick, I did want to take an opportunity to thank Seattle Angel Conference. I really appreciated this. This has been a phenomenal experience for us, so I think I had a little bit of time, so I just wanted to capture it. Oh, and also, I want to say thank you to my wife. She's like awesome. She holds me down. I'm serious. And also thank you to Rowan. He's like literally, they're the best. All right, let's go.
Hey, so I'm Matt Boysen, and I was a diligence lead and got a great opportunity to talk with Rowan and Kwame and learn a lot about their company. Some of the things we explored are first the team. You know, as Kwame mentioned, they've known each other for a long time. They are a very cohesive team. I don't think one thing you mentioned, you also know the industry because you're hosts yourselves. And so that's kind of like one of the areas where this idea came out is, seeing themselves. When you said you identified the pain points, it was yourselves actually seeing those as well. And then in terms of the product, I don't know if you guys, when you walked in, if you saw the backpacks, those are the new backpacks. Those are, the guys have come up with a way to attempt to really productize and make consistent cleans where there's very specific instructions for each cleaner. And then, customer traction. Another thing we looked at, there are the Airbnb space. If anybody's paid attention to it, it's pretty crazy. There's been like 100% growth and these numbers are really large. I mean, they're in the tens and hundreds of millions of dollars stays. There's over 6,000 listings alone, and so looking into how is new acquired customers in Seattle, and then getting feedback from those customers. So in terms of the questions, we know that there's all these Airbnb hosts out there. We know that somebody's cleaning it, but how do we know that there's a demand for the Airbnb service? And then you guys just have moved full time in August. How are we going to acquire new customers?
Okay, so if you looked at our second slide, more specifically our market validation slide, it outlines that there's an outcry for this. Not only, as Matt also pointed out, we were hosts ourselves. We entered the cleaning space and created Tidy the Project because there wasn't a service that was targeted enough and able to really service some of our niche needs. What was the second question again, Matt?
Customer acquisition.
Customer acquisition. So we mentioned Philip, we mentioned Sarah, and what we also plan on integrated, if funded, would be promotions, referral services, as well as SEM. We're confident that we can acquire customers if the world is adequately getting out there and we're able to reach a more targeted audience. On top of that, with the commercial space, we've already acquired a very large customer. Like I said, Bongo PM has over 300 properties within the nation, and we effectively plan on building our relationship with them to help solve the chicken and egg problem as we enter new markets. And since we've been full-time, I also want to indicate I got married. And I also, our CTO also got married, ironically, also on August 5th. But yeah, so a lot of growth outside and inside with the new.
So August was a busy month for Kwame because he both moved full time to new, and also his wife still decided to get married, and they went on their honeymoon. So it's very cool. And so question 2 is as you guys scale, how do we manage quality control, timeliness? I'm assuming these hosts are pretty demanding on making sure that everything's done to their specifications and things are done on time, so there's not a cleaner when a guest arrives. And what sort of operational things can we do to improve that process?
Hi, I'm Rowan. Just introducing myself. So right now, our operation managers are on ground every day, and they audit jobs from between 10 to 25% of cleans. The rationale is that if a cleaner knows that there's a 10 to 25% chance that their clean is going to be audited, they're on their toes. But that's not what we do moving on along. With the introduction of the app and the recent release of Airbnb's API, we'll be able to tie cleaning scores that customers leave for the host and attach it to the cleaner that actually performed the job. That way, if you're receiving anything less than 85% 5-star reviewed, you get kicked off our platform. Okay. That incentivizes cleaners to do their job to the best of their ability.
And last question before we run out of time. How will new execute in Seattle and other markets before competitors? So like I said, it's really just based off of our fundamental capability to build not only our brand recognition, but also significant partnerships. One thing that separates us from our competitors is we're the only ones that have entered this space that understand the duality of the marketplace. We're also the only ones that actually are trying to solve the problem by integrating technical solutions. We're so much more than a cleaning company. Thank you.
All right, next up, Tossold. presenting is Priya Dandawate and Serena, the artist formerly known. Stage is yours.
Thank you. Afternoon, everyone. It's been a long day. So I am Priya, CEO of Tousled, and we're revolutionizing the salon and spa. People's shopping habits have changed. The things we need simply show up at our doorstep, like magic. The new perspective is that I don't go to things, but that things and experiences, they come to me. And we're a part of that change. Tousled is the modern salon and spa where professionals travel to you for on-site haircuts, makeup, massage, and more. The revolution is here. The future of the salon lives in your pocket, alongside these wildly popular apps. So today we're servicing 22 corporations and businesses across Seattle, including Microsoft, Facebook, and the Bravern. Our customer acquisition model is simple. Our sales team acquires a business. The business, in turn, markets Tousled to its network of employees and residents, and those individuals sign up on Tousled, creating accounts and paying us directly. The model works well because we're able to acquire a variety of customers through a single relationship. We covet those corporate relationships because they provide us a steady stream of clientele on a regular basis. We effectively line up our visits so that it syncs up with each individual's haircut routine. So what this leads to is really valuable customers in the long term. So if we look at our lifetime value of men who get their haircut in the office, our average customer has a 5-to-1 return, and our loyal customers who are regularly using us for haircuts have an 8-to-1 return. For men, it lends itself well to potentially even selling subscription packages of haircuts in the office. Women also have a favorable lifetime value, and actually our most valuable customer is the woman who's loyal to the marketplace. So I'm sure you're thinking, what's in it for the business? It's simple. Happy employees work better. Businesses are looking to increase employee retention by offering benefits beyond the basics. In fact, on-site haircuts we compete with them today in big companies like Facebook, Starbucks, and others. So when we come on site to do a haircut, it usually takes place in a meeting room or a break room, much like the one you see here. It's kind of like a pop-up barber shop where we send out one stylist and we aggregate demand, filling up their entire book for the day. Our professionals are fully equipped, bringing all tools and products with them, and our motto is leave no trace. So they'll bring a tarp, vacuum, and other utensils in order to clean up any excess hair. By capturing these corporate accounts, we give ourselves first mover advantage against big players in the industry. Our most notable competitor, Glam Squad, has raised $24 million, but they're exclusively focused on the fashionista. No men, no haircuts. By focusing our go-to-market on corporate, we're able to provide stability and liquidity within the marketplace. Our professionals love the consistent revenue that comes from our corporate clients. And in doing so, we're able to supplement the growth of on-demand, while our competitors spend big money reinforcing the adoption while we don't have to. We're widening the gap between us and our competitors. Our sales team has signed an agreement with Amazon to service their campus of 40,000 employees to service haircuts on site. We'll be starting with their East and West campus and scaling across their 42 buildings. Let's see what this opportunity looks like for Tousled. So we think that men will get their haircut 6 times a year at $30, and women will get their haircut 4 times a year at $60. So those 40,000 Amazon employees end up spending $8 million on haircuts each year. Assuming about an 11% penetration, similar to what we're seeing at Facebook, that's $870,000 gross to the marketplace. We keep 20% of that. Stepping back to see what the relationship represents, Amazon is less than 1/10 of the market nationwide, 1/10 of 1% of the market nationwide. Let me show you. So the industry spend nationwide is $62 billion. Our target customers comprise about a third of that, $20 billion. The Seattle market makes up about 1.3%, so that's $270 million spent on haircuts each year. That's across 1 million office workers and 3,600 buildings throughout the area. Amazon's 40,000 employees represent a targeted microcosm, 1% of 1%. It's our stepping stone to reach the masses. So I want to take a step back and tell you a little bit about how we got to where we are today. Since the beginning, we've been super fortunate to be featured by great brands like Gilt Group, TechCrunch, and GeekWire. We spent the first year of business turning over a bunch of rocks to see what the market wanted. 3 distinct customer groups shook loose. On demand for the next generation of customers, specialty, think brides and editorial, and corporate for the professional and technical workforce. As you can see, this year we focused our efforts on corporate, growing that, and the effort has borne fruit. It's our highest grossing segment. And a big reason for this is that 77% of our corporations rebook us once we have our foot in the door. Facebook has actually gone from booking us once a month to twice a month to now 4 times a month as we scale across their Seattle campus. It won't be long until we're servicing all of Facebook properties across the nation. Therein lies the key to scaling our business. Our corporate relationships provide us the leverage to take the business nationwide. Galvanize, CBRE, WeWork all have campuses across the nation, not to mention our big tech clients that we're working with here in Seattle. Today, our focus is penetrating deeper in the Seattle and Portland market of that $424 million that's spent on haircuts. That'll be done by building out our corporate relationships that give us footholds into our next big cities, Denver and Chicago. So in Denver, we already have relationships building with Google as well as Galvanize and CBRE. And in Chicago, our network extends to Google, Facebook, and WeWork. Last year, we raised $250,000 to seed the growth of the marketplace, and that helped us close Amazon as a client. Next year, that contract will catapult our growth. In doing so, though, it'll also increase our expenses. We estimate that by Q3 of next year, our revenue will get to a point where we can actually start covering our expenses. And by reaching critical mass in Seattle, we'll reach profitability. At that point, we'll likely take those profits and drive them back into the business to continue growing our market and increasing the overall profitability of the business, creating for greater returns to our shareholders. Next year, taking those 22 corporate clients, we're going to grow the marketplace to $800,000 in gross service value. This will be done by deepening our existing relationships with a focus on Amazon, as well as the others that are showing well, like Galvanize and WeWork, as well as expanding to acquire new ones, like Google, Unico, and other property management firms. Across the nation, the gig economy is shaking up the status quo. No longer does work happen when you want it to, it happens at a better rate. You can see this in the numbers. Let's compare our business model to that of the industries. So of that $20 billion that's spent by salons need about $12 billion to cover their operating costs. From there, $7 billion is paid out to the professionals, their employees, which leaves about a 7% net profit margin. Not great. Tousled operates with 10 times more efficiency. By replacing the expensive operating costs with a solution that scales technology, we can pay out our professionals double what they would earn in the salon. As a result, freelancers are naturally attracted to the marketplace as an easy way to make money. Of the 424 professionals who've applied with us, we have a 25 to 30% acceptance rate. The most successful are entrepreneurs who are already freelancing today. Our professionals abide by 2 pillars, compliance and quality. This manifests in the Tousled portfolio. Compliance is done through license checks and soon background checks for Amazon. Quality is done through reviews and content like photos. What we've built is a sophisticated platform that caters to consumers, businesses, and service providers. And this was all done in less than a year. Having all worked at Microsoft, our development team knows how to ship fast and innovate quickly. So I'm Priya, our lead engineer, full stack developer. Jonathan's our mobile app developer, and Melissa's our director of business development. She closed Amazon as one of our accounts. In order to seize the opportunity that we have ahead of us with Amazon, we'll need to fill out our team. Our seed investment will be used to hire for the business and engineering team with a heavy focus on business. On the business side, we need accounts as well as operations and a more trackable funnel so we can measure what's working with the businesses through our digital efforts. On the engineering side, both dev and test will be used to build up the marketplace and help support the growth of our business. Tousled falls at the center of 3 explosive markets: technology, beauty, and on-demand. There's going to be a billion-dollar business that owns this market. Tousled will be that business. If you want to be a part of the next generation of the salon and spa, come see me, Priya. Thanks.
Great pitch. So hi, everyone. I'm Serena. I'm one of the team members for the due diligence team. Javier's not here today, so I'll be representing that. So during the due diligence process. Is my mic actually on? Yes. During the due diligence, what we thought and found very attractive about Towsold is the traction they already have. And that was evident with on-demand customers and as well as corporate customers. And we surveyed talked to the people who used the service, and I tried the service myself, and I thought the service was astounding. And the service providers were very happy with Towsold in terms of their revenue that they make and also against the on-demand competitors. So that was really great. Another space that we thought was how data-driven Priya and her team is. The amount of spreadsheet and the models in terms of projecting the growth, the corporate sales, what they'll need to penetrate the market was astounding. And for that, I really commend their team for working with us on that. So now going into a little bit of the questions. So you kind of walk us through kind of the pop shop setup. Can you give us a little bit more details how that day goes by? What are the logistics so the people in the room can get a picture of that?
Sure. So you can kind of imagine what it would be like to get a haircut at Microsoft in a room like this. Seems like it's very big, but usually we'll get a meeting room. That space is coordinated through the office manager. In Facebook, they actually have a break room that's kind of right near their like snack area. So our professionals come in with all the materials that they need. No sink is required. They'll use a spray bottle to kind of dampen the hair. Men's cuts take about 30 minutes, women's cuts take about 60 minutes, and it's leave absolutely no trace. So the ideal is if there's a concrete floor, they can sweep everything up and use a vacuum potentially. Alternatively, they lay down a tarp and pick up all the hair. For the massages that have also become pretty popular, more on a monthly cadence, our professionals bring everything they need with them, and they'll potentially even set up in a wellness room with, some even bring like a heated table or a heated blanket to create more of the spa environment.
And now that you have shifted focus to business customers, tell us about how you plan on scaling and where you are with it.
Absolutely. So the business customers, the biggest benefit that they provide us is stability within the marketplace. So the fact that 77% are coming back to rebook with us makes it such that we have sticky professionals in our marketplace. So we can use those professionals to then supplement the growth of on-demand. Our on-demand market is actually growing totally organically. People are searching for us, finding us through SEO that we put in place some time ago. And so the bigger tickets for our professionals from the corporate side of the business help supplement the growth for on-demand. At the end of the day, I think the biggest problem we face with our professionals is that they want us to be their bread and butter, and they'd prefer working as an independent freelancer as opposed to going to the salon. So we're finding everything that we can do in order to get them those big tickets so that they can continue working with us and not have to give 50% commission to the salon or spa.
And speaking with that, you talked about Amazon. So where are you with Amazon right now?
Sure, that's a great question. So we've actually passed all of our beta tests with Amazon. We've been in there 4 times so far to do services. And the plan is to be rolling out there across their East and West campus starting early next year. We would have pushed for it this year, but it would have been tough given that it's November and Black Friday is a popular month for them. But we'll be starting on a weekly cadence, 2 barbers coming in every other week on Tuesday, Thursday, and then moving out from there across the rest of their buildings. And so they'll be printing out 1,000 posters for us, as well as doing a series of tactics that we're testing out right now with our existing corporate clients to make sure to find whatever's the highest conversion rate.
This question is not on the slide, so I'm going to ask it. So you mentioned Amazon, and you also mentioned going into corporate. I think you mentioned a little bit about property managers. Can you expand on that as you scale nationwide?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the property managers are a really interesting lever that we can use. So today we're working in a CBRE building in downtown. I believe it's the Atrium, or it could be the Russell building. I'd have to check with Melissa. And so those CBRE manages the most amount of floor property across Seattle, right? So that's one of the most valuable mechanisms for us to move into another market is take that property management relationship and take it to Denver, where they also house the Google campuses, as well as potentially even some of the other folks that we work with.
So you don't have to work corporate by corporate. You're now going into property managers instead of just one Google, then Facebook, then another company.
Exactly. Those businesses that have a national footprint are the ones that are the most attractive for us, because then they can help us get our foot in the door elsewhere.
Okay. I'll wrap up with, you're not leaving your on-demand customers behind.
Yes, that's absolutely right. So what we are seeing is that by the professionals sticking closer to our marketplace with our corporate gigs, it actually helps the growth of on-demand flourish. And with our competitors spending as much as they are, raising $24 million to educate the market, it actually helps us get to that next level.
Thank you.